The impetus behind it is if an individual experiences the whole 18 months, it's a massive investment in them, both professional and personal in life. 18 months out of 100 years is nothing. Cost and time is always a major consideration, and especially those that have families as well. So young children, that's been quite tricky. So the journey is progressive. So it's progression over perfection, and it's all about enhancing all the good bits in the individual and as a collective group, and figuring out things that maybe haven't been figured out for a long time in terms of personal performance. And that can be physical, that can be mental, that can be emotional, and all three. So with the UK, the kick starts in January, and we start with a 45-minute online or face-to-face huddle, preferably the face-to-face huddle, and that is about establishing a really solid, tailored baseline. So it gives me an opportunity to understand everyone's why. So we align our why, and ultimately, the subheading and the subliminal idea to this is that we increase our individual performance through better knowing self, method, and mind. And all of the progressiveness of this starts to access all of those points as we go. It's not, right, we stop, we talk about it. It's the experience, because if we do more, we feel more, and then we are more, we become more. So that 45-minute face-to-face is getting everyone together, talking about exactly what to expect, and aligning our why effectively. And it's really important that we understand each other's why, because then we're mindful of each other's commitment reasons, and also maybe some of the challenges and pressures that they've had to organise in order to get onto the 18 months as well. So by nature, humans love to start stuff, but over time, not every human has the staying power to finish stuff. So 18 months in some people's minds can be, oh my goodness, I've no idea what's going to be happening. Even at Christmas, we don't know which family member we're going to invite round. That is why setting something that's a little bit scary, a little bit exciting, a little bit nerve-wracking, but it's safe and it's going to be phenomenal, is a really important thing to do. Because we talk about comfort, stretch, fear. We need to exist in the stretch. Nothing ever grows in the fear. Nothing ever grows in the comfort. So this is the stretch. And this will supercharge as an investment into the individual. So after that, we have a 1-hour fitness session. This is in March. So when we meet in January, we talk about what to expect. March is the next timeline. And that fitness session is really for me to establish who is in front, and also for those in front to understand more about themselves and where they're at and where they need to be in terms of fitness. But everything starts from a good baseline of health and ultimately staying illness and injury free. If we do that, everything's possible. So we don't need to be super, super fit to even think about considering this at all. That's the beauty of this progression part. After that is the first hill. The highest one, I call it a hill because it sounds better, but it's a mountain. It's the highest mountain in England, Scafell Pike. So we're going to go to that. We're going to enjoy it. And it doesn't matter if someone's super slow or someone's climbed it before. It's the collectiveness, because again, we're starting to discover more about ourselves. And one of those key parts is being around other human beings. We're a social species. So it's managing our own expectations, managing ourselves, and also really enjoying everything. Everything's laced with enjoyment. And then that's Scafell Pikes in April. So there's 4 weeks after the fitness session to really understand and start doing what needs to be done. But ultimately, training for the job in hand is the most important thing. Replicate the terrain, boots, the day pack, and also going up and coming down as well. So after that, in June, we've got Snowdon, which is the second highest mountain in Britain, and it's the highest mountain in Wales. A lot of people have been up the Llanberis route. We won't be doing that. We'll be going up a Dave route, and it'll be ace. So Dave routes, by the way, aren't always a dedicated one route. Sometimes I blend 3 routes, or sometimes I don't even follow anything. Leanne knows. Leanne's been before. And she's alive, so there you go. It's a positive. that's proof. and and then after Snowdon, and don't forget, as we're doing this, this is not just about having a great time and achieving, but it is building up to something. And as we build up to that thing, we get more body confidence in terms of our capability. We become more confident in our kit, clothing, and equipment. And with that, we start to relax and really enjoy. And don't forget, after this experience, be able to go off and do whatever you want and all the challenges in life, because you'll have that strong foundation to be able to move from. So after Snowdon, we have another outdoor fitness session, and that is to build on. So these fitness sessions are full functional body fitness, body weight fitness. So it's all tailored to the individual. If someone's never done a press up before, doesn't matter. If someone is an amateur athlete, it doesn't matter. I'll always make sure that everyone's supported and nurtured to that point where they're happy at. And if they want to go a little bit further, then I'm happy to do that too. So everyone trains together, doesn't matter what capability they are. Nobody feels left out, and nobody feels as though they're letting anyone down. And that's one of the most important things about this. Everybody feels as though it's tailored to them. After that, we've got the Yorkshire Three Peaks in September. So we're closing in now, pretty much to the months where we are now. Now, the Yorkshire Three Peaks is a progressive walk from Snowdon, and Snowdon from Scarfell Pike. And that's what you need to visualise with this. So the Yorkshire Three Peaks, 3 highest peaks in Yorkshire, aimed to do it in about 12 hours. Everybody feels as though they've had an incredible achievement when they finish, and the exhaustion as well. You know, happy, safe exhaustion is the best. I call it healthy pain, but I have to be careful how I use that phrase, because some people think, oh my goodness, what's he talking about? But it's okay. Bad pain's not good. But healthy pain, it's like achieving something through struggle, but safe struggle. Okay, so after that, we have one more UK experience left, and that's the Sandstone Trail. And that will be happening in March 2024. So that's way beyond where we are now. So there's plenty of time for people to gear up and get organised for that. Sandstone Trail, it's not very long. It's only about 34 miles to be done in 12 hours. So it's really straightforward. And it's the ultimate, really, in this progressive experience in the UK. So building on fitness, capability, enjoyment, and also aspirations as well, and expectations. Every time you've achieved one of these UK landmarks, your expectations are never the same. Never the same. You won't look at things and go, oh my goodness, that's crazy. You look at things and go, yeah, that feels good. And then you look at the even bigger stuff and you go, oh, that's crazy, until you do it, and then, you know, it's all fine. Because that leads up to April 2024, and the dates are from the 20th to the 29th of April in 2024, and we go to the Philippines. The Philippines and Asia Pacific is effectively 3 massive islands with loads and loads of other islands around. It's steeped in history. The people are so warm and so lovely. They're fantastic, and they're very gracious hosts. The people, the food, the culture are superb, and it's the people that make the place. And that's why the Philippines has been chosen for a few other reasons as well. But the idea is that we're going to go there, fly over, rock up an airport near Mount Apo, which is the highest mountain in Asia Pacific. And some consider it also part of the 7, 8 highest peaks and the continents on the planet. But the Philippines isn't really, or Asia Pacific's not really classed as a continent. Australia is, but it's much bigger than Mount Kosciuszko in Australia. So we're going to move up and trek up there. We then camp at a lake, which is absolutely beautiful. It's very green out there. It's the wildlife is prolific as well. And then after the lake, we then move to the summit. So it's a 2-day up and down. Once we get to the summit, we come down and we're going to put together a combination of things. So you have the opportunity to abseil through a really lovely waterfall. And, you know, those who've been in waterfalls, or anyone that remembers the Timotei advert years ago, where there's a lady there washing her blonde hair. Anyway, I've been in quite a few waterfalls, and the immense power is backbreaking. That's how I lost my hair. No, it's not. But it's so the waterfalls we go down are not these massive, gargantuous power hydrants. It's it's really enjoyable, and it's designed there to enjoy, but also to do something new and test. Now there is another option as well, which is rubber tubing, and you can actually rubber tube down the river. So you've got a massive inflatable, and you go down there, and it's so cool. Takes you to a location, and then we come to another point. It's right by the sea, and then at that area, we then get in a nice little fast boat, and takes us to a private island where we're then going to stay. So it's a mix, if you like, of three things. It's Lara Croft meets James Bond meets you, and you are you and those two. And the key thing is with all of this, if somebody, for whatever reason, has signed up, wants to sign up, they do this, and even on the day, if they're not feeling like it or up to it, then there's a side route people can go on. It's not as if we've got to continue down that tunnel and everyone must do everything. It's all tailored to the individual. The itinerary is set to get the best out of everyone, but it is tailored so people have a choice, always have a choice. You'll be supported either to move up further into that stretch zone or even just step back a bit. So it's okay. So that's how it all works. It's adventure, it's excitement, it's doing something you may have always wanted to do, but never known how to do it or felt the timing hasn't been right. But do remember, this is an investment in you. That's what I've come to learn over the years. It's not actually going to a place. People invest in themselves. And most of the people I've seen that do these sorts of things are people with areas of responsibility in their personal life and also work life. And they need to decompress, get out, invest in themselves. So when they come back, they can then invest in those that they love and things that they love to do. That's what it's about. So the Philippines is very much about adventure, a summit. It's about exploring something new and about having that reward at the end, which is really luxurious and special. And the whole point of all of this, of course, is getting in control and respecting how you breathe and how you operate and how you take breath into life and keep that pushing forward and through. And all of those thriving tools, you then translate back into your own life as well. And that's the progression of this. So after the Philippines, we then do a regroup at Edale in Derbyshire. Mindy was there recently. Leanne's been there as well with me. And we get there, and it's an opportunity for us to come back together and to reconvene, to put the boots back on and to chat, reminisce, and have a great time. And it's so important that we do that. So the first phase is preparation. Second phase is the actual doing, the event itself, and the third phase is the regroup, the recalibration. Because goal setting is huge for this. And really, what we're looking at, the preparation phase could even be looked upon as a bit of stretch, maybe a little bit of fear, but mostly stretch. The event phase is stretch, but when we regroup, we come back into the comfort zone, and that's where we actually grow. That's where we physically change forever for the better. So after that, we then look to go to Burwoodsley. It may be Burwoodsley or it may be Sandyway, but it's here in Cheshire. And what we do there, we're going to do a combination of some other things that will test us and stretch us a little bit. but nothing that's dangerous. And it'll involve everything from outdoors, bushcraft, food. So we'll all prepare our food together. There'll be a few team energizers, a few icebreakers, a few maybe high ropes, low ropes, and all that kind of jazz. But everybody will get the chance to do something that they've never done before. Even if they've been to that location before, they won't. And it's a further discovery about ourselves as well. And let me give you a little anecdote, and I've used this a few times before. If you had a room of 5,000 people, they all had a little box with the same Lego pieces in, different colors, different shapes. And I asked you in 15 seconds to build a yellow and blue duck, only using yellow and blue pieces. Everyone would be like, oh, and then you do it. And then say, stop, right? Raise your little duck in your left hand, you raise it up, look to the person to the left and to the right. If you've got the same duck that you've made, then stand up. Nobody does, ever. And the reason is because we start to learn more about ourselves and how we interpret information as well. And those moments of high stress, so when our vibrancy isn't as great as it was maybe a few days ago, we interpret things differently. So we then start to understand how we react to things and how we manage ourselves in doing it as well. And there's some of this that goes into that. And talking about values or DNA, and there's really fun exercises where we can get together and start to develop this. So the 18-month program is very much about your personal enjoyment and aligning your why and discovering your self, method, and mind in more detail than maybe you haven't looked at before or had the chance to. And after that, we finish off with a face-to-face huddle again, and it's a roundup. So this is a circular experience. We come full circle, and that is your base plate for life. So that is the summary of it all. And ultimately, take home is it's tailored to you. The itinerary is progressive, so progression over perfection. And ultimately, once you've aligned your why, you better know self, method, and mind, and that will supercharge your personal and professional life like you've never known before. And don't forget, this is for everyone. All you need is a baseline of health, which is good, staying illness and injury free. And if you are rehabilitating from illness and injury, speak with your doctor. If they're happy, you're happy, we're happy, then just get involved. But it's something for everyone, and you'll be supported every step of the way.
The main concern is, isn't Mount Apo a live volcano? Live, active. And what happens if nature sends that volcano to erupt and we're either planning to go or we're there? What situation do we get ourselves in?
Well, if we're there, we'll get some pretty unique photos and videos, and Getty Images will be all over it.
Very hot.
Yeah. So every volcano, whether people say it's extinct or dormant on this planet, is actively just dormant. It's not inactive at all. Every volcano, it's been there before. I mean, if something were to happen, anything were to happen, even someone slipping over and injuring themselves, the extraction plan is the Philippine Air Force. They're the ones that look after medical rescues. So there's loads of indigenous tribes and villages around Mount Apo, and anything untoward, anything that's seeming as though it's not going to be good for us to get there, then we'll know. And on that point, actually, if things like that, so let's say there's another pandemic where we can't, or anything that just stops us being able to fly there, then all we do is just delay the dates, and that's it. So the money's fixed, and that is it. The only thing people need to consider in terms of the flights is that the flights are not included in the package. And the simple reason is don't have any control over them. and things are changing a lot. But do use a lady from Travel Counsellors, and I've been using her for years in terms of flights, and she's ace. So I'll get together an flight itinerary and then share that. And if people want to, they can get involved in that, or they can cross-reference it and see if they can get it cheaper or fit it into whatever plans they've got as well. So if anyone needs to get out quickly, whether it's an individual reason they need to get back home quickly, or something collectively happens, then that's one of the great reasons about Filipinos and Filipinas, Filipinos male, Filipinas female. They are absolutely brilliant people. They're strong. They're so underrated as well. But as hosts, they're fantastic, and I've got some really good relationships there as well, and that counts for a lot. So if anything needs to be organised, whether it's an emergency or whether it's just a need or a want, then I'm confident we'll be able to get everyone away safely. If somebody signs up and wants to do the whole thing, and then later on down the line something happens where they absolutely cannot do something or two things, then there is no pressure. There is no pressure at all, and we'll look at everything case by case as well, to see if we can be flexible and sort another opportunity out. But yeah, people can come to the Philippines, and it's an opportunity not to be missed. It really is. I mean, there's a lot to be said for relationships in adventure. I'm part of a few groups where people have had some atrocious experiences where they've gone to a place. It's a very well-known name in the household, but the support and the relationships haven't been there. And then when it's been tested, they haven't had it. So yeah, that's why this is a really unique opportunity, because you're benefiting off years and years of relationships and trust, and that actually enhances everything for everyone that's there. They'll feel it, they'll see it, and it will just make them feel relaxed and enjoy it more, and probably even dare to do a little bit more than they would usually. So yes, the Philippines can be viewed as a specific experience. The UK experiences as well, but they haven't just been thrown against a wall, they've been specifically thought about. And it's an opportunity to get loved ones along with you as well. So if anyone wants to share the experience, that's something that can be discussed and something that can be looked at. But the UK experiences, the stepping stones through that period of time, will really help other things going on in life as well. They 100%, they really, really will. And you won't know until it's happened. But when you come back, you feel great, you feel more sort of zen, recalibrated, and it just adds perspective. And so things that might have made you a bit irate or frustrated before, these little experiences will really help just smooth things over. That's why I do them. There's three things that I would always prescribe to everyone. Not that I'm a doctor. Is that one, the outdoors and movement on a daily basis, even for a short period of time. The second one is a summit. You've got to go up a summit, one summit at least every year. Have to. It could be whatever summit that means. It's a summit to you metaphorically, physically, emotionally, mentally as well. But if you can go up a significant summit, it's even better. And the third thing is just to keep connected into both of those, and to write goals before you make a decision, whilst you're doing it, to look at those goals, and you'll be surprised how they change for the better. And then after you've done it, you'll be surprised even more how those goals change. They could be anything. It could be, I've always wanted to put that picture in that picture frame, but I've never got round to it. Or it could be, you know what, I'm just going to do something I've always wanted to do, and get in that car and go around Ollerton Park, because my grandfather loved fast cars, and I'm just going to see if I've got any of my grandfather with me on if I can drive. It could be anything, anything. But the goals that come with the outdoors and summits are always vastly enhanced by doing them.